What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. If you are new, welcome. In today's episode, I'm going to be giving you guys some travel advice to Lisbon, Portugal. If you haven't seen the vlog already, go ahead and watch that first. I'm going to link it right here for you. Or maybe it's up here. I feel like I do this every time now. But anyway, check that out and then come back to this video. If you've already seen it, then let's start talking. Alright, y'all, so the first topic that I want to talk about is the time zone and the essentials of Portugal, Lisbon. It is a part of Europe, so they are on the euro, which means us that are on the dollar will actually be losing money going there because the euro is worth more than a dollar. Not significantly a whole lot, but enough that you will be losing a good bit. The time zone is also 5 hours ahead from Eastern time, so usually flights will leave in the evening and you arrive there in the morning. The flight, I want to say, is somewhere around 8 hours, or at least it was for me, depending on where you are geographically. And that's all I have as far as like the essentials of Portugal and the flight itself. The next thing I want to talk about is overall travel. They do drive on the left-hand side. Americans are allowed to rent cars out there. However, the driving style in Portugal, or in Lisbon specifically, because I didn't visit all of Portugal, is different. It's significantly different. I got to some points where I had to just close my eyes in the back seat because I couldn't take it. It's not as structured as it is here in the States. And then also the signs are not in English. So I think that it would just be a little bit of a challenge, especially like with somebody like me not even knowing the Portuguese language. So if you're okay with that, I say go for it. If not, I would just say stick to Uber, a taxi. They have trains. They also have the bus. So there's a lot of different ways to get around the city, which is another good part about Lisbon, Portugal. So you don't have to take an Uber or a taxi. You can take the train or the bus, and it is well routed to get you where you need to be. All right, let's talk about sightseeing for a second. Sightseeing, there's a lot of different ways that you can do this. There was the Hippo bus, which I was the most intrigued by. It's a bus that's on land, and then it kind of like turns itself into a boat and it just drives right into the water. And we actually did the yellow sightseeing boat. So everything that you see on that boat, you will be able to see on the Hippo bus as well, plus some because it goes on land, which is a plus. There's also the hop on and off bus. They have those here in the States. So those are always nice to kind of get on and off if you see something that you're attracted to and you want to get off and go see, hop back on and all that good stuff. And that allows you to see everything pretty much in one day. But you do have to start early. The other thing that they have is it can be either or a form of transportation like what I just spoke about, or it can be used as a sightseeing tool as well, which is the bike taxi. So that is a little motorized bike, and then there's like this carriage on the back. So you can go around seeing everything, or you could just use it to and from point A, point B, use it as if it was a taxi or Uber or something like that. So those are actually really, really fun. And those are basically the main ideas of what I saw as far as sightseeing. And of course, a more traditional approach or more simpler approach, cheaper approach would be to walk around. Where we were in central to a lot of different locations, and to be honest, I don't think we really knew where we were. We just started walking around, which is also some of the most exciting sightseeing stuff to do, because you never know what you'll run into. Just make sure you have a great sense of direction and you can find your way back. So let's talk about food. The food in Portugal to me was absolutely phenomenal. I loved it. They're really big on seafood. The majority of my dishes, actually about all of them, were seafood. I had the cod fish cake with beans, and I also had a seafood pasta, and I had grilled octopus with mashed potatoes, and they were all very, very tasty. I really enjoyed it. If you, for whatever reason, are not big on seafood, American culture is actually kind of popular in Portugal. And it was so funny. I was eating grilled octopus for the first time, and I'm, trying it, and this guy points out that I'm eating octopus and I'm American, and the guy across from me is a native and he was eating a cheeseburger. So it's kind of like everybody wants to know what everybody else is doing, or we're all intrigued by each other's cultures. Yeah, that sounds better. So yeah, so if you don't like seafood for whatever reason, or you're not feeling the food, or you're allergic to seafood or whatever, there's a lot of American options to eat as well. I love the seafood. also found it interesting that even after eating a full bowl of pasta, I didn't even get the itis. Usually after I eat heavy foods like that, it's time to take a nap. And that didn't happen. I don't know if they're just made differently, or if it's fresher, or some kind of ingredient that makes me feel like that was missing, or what it was. But nope, I ate heavy and I kept on moving. So that was awesome. I really enjoyed that, because usually I want to take a nap afterwards, and I can't even help it. So let's talk about what to see and what to do. So on the second day, we did 2 in 1 day, and I actually wish we would have done Centra as just 1 day, as a full activity. And the reason why is because there's about 7 or 8 castles out there. And for this particular thing, I did dress kind of nice, I guess you could say. Like, you know, I had a nice little romper, some espadrilles. I was ready, and I had, you know, my jewelry on. But this is one of those things where you should be wearing athletic wear with sneakers, because there's a lot of climbing, there's a lot of walking. You should bring a backpack, you should bring water with you. Like, this is like a full-on hike through different castles. The one that we saw wore me out, I mean, within a couple hours, and it was Quinta de Regalera. I really hope I said that correctly, but it is a very large castle. There's some water in it a little bit, and we were stepping over the rocks. There's climbing involved. There's hills involved. It's very, very pretty, but this is an active thing to do. So I would say make sure, excuse me, someone's calling. God. There's a lot happening in this one castle, and we only got to see one castle, and I tell you guys, I broke a full-blown sweat in my cute outfit. I really did. So they're definitely all worth seeing. Take your time and spend the entire day. Take breaks and eat some food, shop around, because it is a very large area. It's a lot to explore, and wear your good walking shoes, good climbing shoes, shoes you don't mind possibly getting a little dirty. And yeah, take lots of pictures as well. Make sure you have your mobile chargers with you and all that. It was really awesome, and that was Centra. From Centra, though, after we saw Quinta de Regalera, we went over to this beach area, and it's Cash, something like that. I think I'm pronouncing it correctly, because when I first saw it, I said Cascais, which is totally wrong. It's like Cash, something like that. Anyway, the bus ride there, let's talk about this bus ride. So from Centra, you can get on a bus and go to Cash. And then it was like, it's a lot of like doing this. So you're like doing the snake going like down a hill. It was so insane. It got to a point where I was in the back with my eyes shut. And the reason why is because you're doing this, but the road's bumpy, so it's also doing this. And then like on top of that, there's mirrors so the bus driver could know if somebody's coming up, because the streets are narrow. So there's a lot of I was like, oh my God, let me just close my eyes. We're gonna make it. I just cannot keep my eyes open and look at this, because it was almost like making dizzy. I mean, if you have like a motion sickness problem, this will definitely be the time to take a motion sickness pill. But after this bus ride roller coaster, we landed there, and it was awesome. The weather was beautiful when we went. The water was ice cold. Ice cold. I don't know how anybody was swimming in it. Like, it was freezing, but there's tons of places to eat, because you know, got to eat. I was saving my appetite for a different meal, but I did see there were a lot of places to eat and grab an ice cream. There was some upbeat music going, and they also served green wine, which I'd never had before, and it actually is pretty tasty. It's like a sour, like a green apple take on like, but like wine. It's like a sour wine. It was good though. I enjoyed it. And overall, I enjoyed the area. I wish we could have explored a little bit more of the area itself. There's a lot of shopping malls as well. It wasn't that interested in shopping. I just like to go see everything around, and a lot of the stores were stores that we have here in the States, so I didn't want to waste my time and see something that I would have already seen in the States. I always like to look for the new things that I don't get to see anywhere else. So that was how the beach area went, And that's all we got a chance to see. It was a very short trip. I'm sure there's a ton more to see in Lisbon, Portugal, or even expand your way out of Lisbon and go to some of the other cities and see what it is that they have. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I want to talk to you guys about culture. All right, so let's talk about culture. There's a lot of diversity in Lisbon, which I was pleasantly surprised by. And actually, I really kind of enjoyed that there was so much diversity because it made me feel more comfortable as a Black American in a totally different country. So tons of diversity. The people out there are very friendly. They're very helpful. One guy even told me to tell all of my American viewers to come to Portugal, and I have to tell you guys, I actually agree with him. We should be going there more often. I know it's one of those countries I feel like that may be a little bit forgotten about as far as like where to go and visit here. Like everybody's so focused on probably like a London or France, Spain, Italy, and then they just kind of forget about Portugal. But Portugal has a lot to offer, so I feel like all of you should start packing up and going to visit Portugal. In my opinion, it's also one of the least or the most inexpensive city that you can find, or country that you'll be able to find on a euro, because I heard that London is expensive, Italy expensive, Paris expensive. Like, you're already losing money on the euro as far as the dollar conversion. So like I said, the most inexpensive city, country that you'll find in Europe on the euro. So keep that in mind when you're planning your next travels to Europe. And then just be open-minded, do a little more research about them, because there really is a lot to see. All right, the other thing that I want to talk about as far as like culture goes is that there's a lot of English speakers out there, so you shouldn't have too much trouble with getting around or asking for directions. My phone did not work out there. I mean, it did, but it didn't. Like, if I was to make a phone call, it would cost me like, I think it was 45 cents a minute or something like that. And then as far as text messages, I could send those too. But as far as like Google Maps, that wasn't working at all. There was no data that was working. It could just be the cell phone plan that I have, but I'm just telling you guys, there's a lot of English speakers, because I was not able to navigate where it was that I wanted to go. It was very I think like 90s when you had to go to mapquest.com, except instead of like printing the directions off, I was screenshotting them to figure out where it was that we needed to go. But if you get lost, tons of English speakers, they should be able to help you. And what else I want to tell you guys? Bring your own medicine if you can, like a leave, or if you need like some kind of like headache medicine and stuff. And the reason why is because eventually I found like ibuprofen, but it took me like a day to find it. I really was having a hard time finding medicine. I was having like some a headache or whatever. Couldn't figure it out. Like, where was the medicine? It's not like the States where there's like a Walgreens on every corner, or CVS, or you can go to the gas station and just pick up medicine. It's not like that at all. Like, you really have to look. Even the hotel that we were in didn't have medicine for sale or to give. I was just like, oh my God. And you know, for us, there's a first aid kit with an aspirin in it or something like that. So definitely different. If you need medicine or something like that, make sure you bring it yourself. And I want to say that's all. I always have my notes, you guys. Make sure I don't forget anything. And that's it, you guys. This brings me to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And until next time, I'll see you next time. Bye, guys. Have a good one.